like all other great starts, it happened in college. It was one of the subjects that I took up: poker, chess, bridge, and then later on, when I was in graduate school, I took up backgammon. If I were not a poker player, I'd be in business, doing something along that order, hopefully successfully. The one that I remember the most, believe it or not, was the first the minor event at the World Series where I won $250,000. That's the one that really is in my stamped in my mind. I had obviously much greater wins, recently I won $1.635 million at the Bicycle Club, but I would say that first big win at the World Series, which was $250,000, would have been is the one I remember the most. Well, I have to admit, I have not visited the number of pubs that Porrick has visited, and I don't think anyone can take that record away from him. Well, see, that's a question that is asked, and I cover that in my very first book. That is too little information that you've given me. First of all, you gotta give me a whole bunch of other information. What's the size of my chip stack? What's the size of my chip stack in relation to the other people? What point in the tournament are we? How close are we to the prize fund? What's the status of the people around me? Do I have action players behind me? So that question cannot be answered with the amount of information that's been given. God, there are so many great poker players I know. I've seen Phil Ivey in action. I've seen Gus Hansen in action. Eric Seidel in action. I mean, Howard Lederer in action. It's really tough to quantify who the best is now. It's probably, if I had to make a guess, it's some young internet player that I don't know. I've never been as much of a drinker as some other people in the poker community that will go unnamed. But it begins with his first name begins with the letter P. So I would prefer poker over drinking. I would prefer poker over sports betting because, quite frankly, it's real tough sitting there watching some other people handle your money. I have a couple famous cousins actually. According to my mother, 13 years ago, I guess she had an eye for talent. She said Porrick is the cousin that's going to do well. Porrick Harrington, the golfer. He turned out to be a solid player, a tight player, and I mean, I don't know if he's evolved from that, but that's what he was when he just dropped out of college. Well, seeing the problems that Brad seems to have with Angelina now, in fact, she kicked him out of the bedroom, according to the latest Inquirer stories. I guess maybe and I've seen Marty's girlfriend. I'll go for Marty. Oh, you got to be Patrick Antonius. How can you not be 30 years younger, handsome, great tennis player, a great poker player? You got to go for it. As good a player as Doyle is, I have to give him 12 years. Who's Flipper Walsh?
It's a swimmer.
Oh. The bad beat story that I remember after all these years, you would say, maybe I lost, I forget what I lost in this, maybe I lost $150 or something like that. But it was 30 years, about 34 years ago. It was in a backgammon game. And I was part of a team, and we're facing a captain. And we're down to the last roll of the dice. And we're rolling, and there's checkers on the 4-point and ace point, and we roll the die, and our opponent has 3 checkers on the 5 point. So the only rolls that will win for him are double 5s or double 6s. So that's 18 to 1, that's roughly 17 to 1, 18 to 1. So we roll first. Every roll wins for us. Well, we have called precision dice. They're very accurate dice. The first die that comes out of the spin is a 4. We're jumping like this for joy, everything, because we win automatically, because there's no other roll on the dice. It can be any number on the dice. It wins for us, and we're jumping in.
Off the board, does it?
No, it doesn't go off the board. It's precision dice. It spins and spins and lands on its edge. It's a no roll. That only lands on its edge like that maybe if you play every day twice a year. So we look at each other. So we roll the next time. We roll a 3-1. So our opponent gets a roll. He rolls double 6s and wins the match. And if you know anything, I mean that was I'll
runner.
Yeah, it's a whole number of runners that you just can't imagine. You have to do it. If you tell that to a backgammon player, they would understand it. It's like an impossible beat.